MIAA Monday back again this week with MIAA Commissioner Mike Racy. Sir, thanks for coming on. And we're so close to the start of the fall sports season. We've talked about the NCAA. We've talked about, COVID restrictions, the vaccine. We've talked about a lot of big topics. Now we're going to talk about maybe the fun part of the MIAA a little bit more, the MIAA Network, what you guys have been able to build with that. Just take me through the process of kind of what went into the MIAA Network and where it is, maybe where it started to where it is now.
Yeah, Chris, good to see you again. And it certainly feels like we're about ready to get things kicked off, and that's a great feeling. I'm seeing pictures from all over the MIAA conference of football teams at camp and practices under the lights, and so I'm excited. But yeah, the MIAA Network, it's certainly a special tool that we've developed over the last few years, and certainly came into prominent use last year during the pandemic when many of our institutions had capacity limits. A lot of our MIAA fans were reluctant maybe to go back and attend sporting events indoors, basketball games, volleyball games, and certainly found a way to watch and keep up with the action on the MIAA Network. This is a project that was kind of handed off to me from Dr. Bob Bowrichter when he left and I became the new commissioner, and we were in the process of trying to figure out what exactly the MIAA wanted to do as a conference from a broadcast standpoint. We're fortunate. Our member institutions saw early on, Chris, the power of collectively combining their media rights into kind of a single negotiation with a potential media partner. And we've talked to a lot. We've done our due diligence. We've talked to standalone media companies and groups that wanted to pay us a rights fee for the right to own the MIAA broadcast, regular season, and conference tournaments. And at the end of the day, we decided to take a path of actually doing it ourselves, having our own network, having our own conference network, us controlling the content, us controlling what that looks like. We did bid out and happy that about 4 years ago, we started working with a company out of Lexington, Kentucky, that specializes in sports media platforms. And they figure out all the technology behind the scenes and how a broadcast ends up on either a phone, a laptop, or someone watching it on their television through Roku or Apple TV or Amazon Fire. And I believe that we have one of the best college sports networks in the country. Unlike a lot of Division II conferences, Chris, that just provide kind of a one or two camera shoot and come in and watch for free. We on our campuses, we've decided to take it to a little bit of a different level and provide hopefully what consumers feel are quality broadcasts and actually have a subscription to watch the MIAA Network. And I think for a lot of our fans, this isn't a lot different than what they experienced with a lot of high school broadcasts. People are paying to watch, whether they're going to the game in person or whether they're watching at home. They're willing to pay as long as it's a quality broadcast. And we dipped our toe in the water the past 3 years, Chris, with kind of a quasi subscription model where our fans would pay to watch basketball, football, and volleyball, and all of our other content was offered for free. And this will be the first year, Chris, that everything is behind a paywall. So every one of our school regular season broadcasts and every one of our conference tournaments will be behind a paywall, accessible to fans through a variety of subscription options.
You talk about going behind the paywall, and I'm sure you'll probably get this along the way, or concerns about having to pay for everything in different models. But at the same time, that money goes back to not just the conference, but it goes back to the individual schools too, doesn't it? Or the athletic departments, at least.
Yeah, everything that our fans are paying for to watch an MIAA broadcast, that money is going directly back to that member institution's athletics department. So as a consumer, a Northwest Missouri State fan, when he or she is watching a Bearcat game, the home broadcasts, a little more of that money is going back directly to the Northwest Missouri State Bearcat athletics department, and on the road, that money is shared between the home team and the visiting team through a formula that we use. But yes, all of the dollars they're not going back to the general fund for the school. These are dollars that are going directly to the athletics department in the same way that if you were going to the game and buying a ticket. And that's what we try to talk to our membership about, that the type of experience that the athletic director at the University of Central Missouri wants his fans to have going to watch some Mules or Jennies on campus in Warrensburg. That's the same experience that athletics director wants fans to have watching the Mules or Jennies on TV or on the laptop or on the phone, and so we try to put in that same effort in a quality game or a quality broadcast, because all of that, whether it's a ticket or a subscription that you're buying for the MIAA Network, is money that's going back to the athletics department.
How did the conference come up with the 3 different subscription options for people to choose from?
Yeah, so our media platform, Blue Frame Technology out of Lexington, Kentucky, they have a couple of other clients that have subscription models, and Division I level to your college level. And we really relied on them to help us price this out for the type of broadcasts that we were doing. What were those right price levels? And so for this year, and I think there was a story in the MIAA website a week or two ago about our subscriptions, but to watch a single game, so an aunt or an uncle that want to tune in and watch their niece play a women's tennis match, just to watch that single match or game is $10, and you'd put that on your credit card, and that's your game subscription. If someone knows that they want to watch multiple games, maybe you're a fan of MIAA basketball and you want to watch all of the games leading up to the tournament in March, so you want to buy a package in February to kind of see the end of the MIAA basketball season, you would pay a monthly subscription, and that's $25 for a monthly subscription. And that would give you not only the basketball games, but any other MIAA sporting events that are happening at that time. You'd be able to watch wrestling. You'd be able to watch the men's and women's basketball, any of our indoor track and field facilities that are broadcasting a meet that they may be hosting. So you can kind of do this 1 month at a time and figure out what you want to watch during that month. And if you don't want to mess with any of that, buying by the game or buying by the month, we do have an annual subscription. So you pay a one-time fee, $125, and that gives you access to all of the MIAA regular season broadcasts and conference championship broadcasts. If you want to just watch our conference championship broadcasts, there will be a separate fee for each of those events that we'll set. And if you want to, tune in and just watch the conference basketball tournament, you'd have to pay a separate fee for that. But if you do the $125 subscription, that's going to give you access to every regular season broadcast and every MIAA conference championship during the year.
I'll use football and basketball as kind of the examples for this, because I think those are the two that we've seen the most maybe growth in the camera work. And kind of, you talked about at the beginning was a lot of high schools, and probably I'm trying to think back to the beginning of the MIAA network, was kind of that one camera over the top of watching the whole court. How have you seen that kind of evolve from maybe that one camera to multiple, but also getting to other sports like you mentioned tennis? I mean, MIAA wrestling for those schools, soccer. I mean, how have you seen that kind of evolve? And are you to the point where it's everything's where you guys want, or there's still room to grow too?
Oh, I think there's certainly room to grow. What has happened over the past 3 or 4 years is an investment by our athletic departments in equipment. You're part of sports media. You understand the type of equipment that's used to broadcast a game is not cheap. There's an investment that our schools need to make, and our schools have gotten creative in how they've been able to go out and purchase some of the additional cameras and laptops and other equipment, that not just being able to have multiple cameras at a single game, but a lot of our institutions are hosting a variety of events on the same day. So they may be doing a soccer match from one venue, and have a football game at the football stadium, and maybe a basketball scrimmage going on in a different facility. So they need multiple cameras. They need multiple laptops to produce the games, and so it's been an investment in equipment. And our media partner, our technology partner, Blue Frame, has helped with some of that. And so that's been important. Another thing that's happened, Chris, a lot of our schools have found opportunities to partner with the communications department on campus, and it's allowed university equipment to be brought in to help with the broadcasts of games. And with that comes communications department professors and instructors that come and help, and the workforce for the games. The telecasts are being shot and produced by students as part of a learning lab for them, and there's skills that you learn in class that you're able to put into action during MIAA broadcasts. And so we've had, over the course of the last couple of years, those things happen. Now what our challenge is as a conference, as we enter into this new phase, Chris, where everything is behind a paywall, and a fan is going to be paying for every broadcast, not just football, not just basketball, but now baseball, softball, all of our other sports, is we have to have minimum expectations for these other sports. Most of our schools are doing 2 or 3 cameras at a basketball game, 4 or 5 cameras at a football game, and that's sufficient for an NCAA Division II quality broadcast. In baseball, a lot of these conferences that do baseball for free, it's just a camera behind the backstop, looking through the fence or the net at home plate, and probably a stationary camera. We can't have that in the MIAA. That's not acceptable. And now that we're going to be charging fans, we need a camera from from the outfield looking in. We need a camera down the first baseline. We need another angle that's focused on the pitcher. So we have to enhance the quality of our broadcasts if we're going to expect fans to be comfortable and satisfied with the money that they're paying to watch these games. Again, I think our fans are pretty reasonable, and they realize that that the money that they're investing is going back to help the athletic departments, which is good, but they're still paying for something, and they expect a good broadcast that has a good quality audio and multiple angles and shots of whatever action they're trying to keep track of. So that's our big job, is beyond football, basketball, volleyball, where we've done pretty good with bringing our game up. We need to do that in these other sports, and our schools know that, and they're preparing to make these necessary enhancements this year with everything behind the paywall.
You guys basically built this from scratch. I mean, MIAA Network all the way through, and we all know that media rights and television contracts are a huge part of college sports, and we've talked about Division I and the money that comes in. For you guys, how do you guys measure the success of the network at this point? It's still, as weird as it sounds, it's still kind of in its infancy of creation, only a couple of years old. But how do you measure the success of the network?
So we have a dashboard that we follow with the help of Blue Frame technology that tells us who's watching, how long they're watching, what games they're watching. We measure number of game passes. This year we'll be measuring the number of monthly subscriptions and annual subscriptions. So, we're able to quarter by quarter and looking from year to year, the growth of the network. And, it does continue to grow. We didn't have football last year as part of our broadcast, but with just basketball and kind of a condensed volleyball season, we were very pleased with the numbers and the revenue that we were able to send back to all of our athletic departments last year. So those are the measurements. But really the things that we've started to talk about internally, Chris, is how can we add value to the network? How can we create things for our subscribers that live behind the paywall that really provide value? And that's one of the things that that I'm pleased that we've actually started to work and talk to your TV station, KQT2 TV in St. Joe, about an internship program and having some individuals that want to get into sports media, sports journalism, an opportunity to do an MIAA studio show or an MIAA pregame show, the type of show that would be available for folks that have a subscription on a Saturday morning, that would give you kind of a look around the conference, things going on, news that happened that week, a preview of upcoming matchups in the conference, and not just volleyball or not just football, but also volleyball and cross country and other fall sports. Something we continue in the winter with basketball, and eventually the dream is to create something that at some point becomes kind of an MIAA version of College Game Day, that we can take this on the road and have a lot of interaction with fans at a stadium on a Saturday before a big kickoff, and broadcasting a show that would be available to anyone that subscribes to the network, but that would have a lot of cool fan interaction and a college feel, on a Saturday before kickoff. So, that's the dream. But we're really pleased with the KQTV partnership and the ability for us to think about ways to create some programming that we haven't done in the past. And it really adds value to the network for these people that are investing and subscribing to watch MIAA action.
I'm excited for that too. I think it's a good opportunity, not just for ourselves here, but you guys, like you said, there's so many possibilities because we're giving interns an opportunity to learn and also be a part of schools they already go to. I mean, Missouri Western, Northwest Missouri State are kind of the two that we have up here, but at the same time, they can learn about the Lincolns, the Northeastern states, the Hayes that they don't get to very often. So I think this is a huge opportunity for the students, but at the same time, you guys already do a lot for the students with the MIAA tournament, champion basketball tournaments. I know it's Pittsburgh State, Central Missouri, Northwest Missouri State. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out at this point, but
Fort Hays
State. See, I know I was going to forget one, but there are many opportunities that they actually are able to help broadcast those tournaments too.
Yeah, we're really proud of the basketball broadcasts that we do every March. MIAA Madness in Kansas City is a big deal, and you've been there. And Municipal Auditorium is a special place for us to stage the basketball tournament. And one of the things that's really cool is the partnership that you mentioned of these 4 schools coming together and bringing around 50 students from those 4 schools that come to Kansas City, and they're there for the entire week. And they are responsible for producing all 18 of the men's and women's tournament broadcasts. And they do everything from a pregame show, a halftime show, the post-game interviews with coaches, obviously the game broadcasts. All of this is available on the MIAA Network. We've had students, Chris, that have been part of that have gone on to work for NBC Sports, the NFL Network. We had a young man from Pitt State that called, did play-by-play for 2 of the tournaments. And he told me that he thinks his shot to get that job at the NFL Network really was a result of the broadcasts that he was able to show them that he had done from the MIAA basketball tournament. So these are talented young men and women who want a career in broadcasting and most of them in sports media, and they get a chance to come to Kansas City and for a week to broadcast an entire NCAA college basketball tournament. There are very few places in the country that happens, and we are the only conference, any level, where the entire broadcast from camera to producers to the commentators are all students. And the students on championship Sunday and our semifinals on Saturday, both men and women, they get to work with a legendary MIAA coach who does the color. The last couple of years, Coach Smith from Missouri Western has provided that color work for the men's semifinals and championship, and I know the students that get to work with these coaches in those broadcasts are, it's a thrill of a lifetime to be by a legend actually calling an NCAA tournament basketball game. Yeah. And a lot of people worry when they hear that students are involved in a broadcast. But Chris, you and I know that these students are more qualified than a lot of volunteers and other folks that you could find in the community to be behind a camera and to do a broadcast. That's what they're there in school for. That's what they're learning in the classroom. That's what they're trained for. And we just give them that ultimate experience to actually do that in Kansas City on a big stage with the basketball tournament. I know it's quality work because Spectrum Sports in Kansas City for the past 4 or 5 taken the feed from our from Municipal for both the men's and women's championship games. And every year they're down and they're watching and waiting, and they're making a judgment on whether or not they want that telecast on Sunday. And every year they take it, and they're telling me that these students are just as good as the folks that they're rolling out for games that they broadcast. So, and then they syndicate these broadcasts. I think the last tournament that we had at Municipal in 2020, the championship game was syndicated into 6 different states. And so the basketball tournament and the job that we do in getting quality broadcast using 4 schools, students from those 4 schools, it's really quite a success story.
MIAA Network, huge part of the conference and also part of recruiting for that matter. Just it's amazing and fascinating to watch it grow. Any final thoughts on the network you want to share before we get out of here?
I hope that I hope our fans are comfortable coming back to our stadiums and our games this year, Chris. And I know the Delta variant has a lot of people worried. Certainly if you're uncomfortable or you don't feel safe being at a game, please tune in, please watch the network, please watch these games. Your money is going to directly support the athletics department. So, I know a lot of our fans feel good buying tickets and knowing that that's going to help with scholarship money and other things that our athletics departments do. And the same thing with the network. So I just want fans to know that, during another year where, people may still have concerns about being any concerns at all, the MIAA Network will be there for them and offer folks quality Division II broadcasts.
MIAA Commissioner Mike Racy, thank you as always for coming on.
Thank you, Chris. Good to see you.